Hi students, and welcome again. This video is video number 4 or rather 5 on 8th grade IGCSE mathematics. Okay, so this is for the students of IGCSE of 8th grade and the subject is mathematics, right? And the topic today is radical sign and index form number. Okay, radical sign and index form number. Now let me tell you certain things about this small topic, because this is also something which is very confusing, and once it is clear, okay, then students are not going to make any mistakes lifelong. Okay, so let me clear this concept also. Now we all know that 4 is equal to 2 square. Okay, so this is 4 which is written in the index form as 2 raised to 2, that is 2 square. Now another way of writing this is, so this is index form. Okay, 4 is equal to 2 square. Okay, same way 8 will be equal to 2 cube, isn't it? 8 is equal to 2 raised to 3. So this is 4 is expressed in index form as 2 raised to 2. 8 is expressed in index form as 2 raised to 3. That is the meaning of it. Okay, so this is index form. Okay, the numbers in index form. Now these are the numbers in radical form. Okay, now root of 4 is equal to 2. Now you know root of 4 is equal to 2. Okay, same way cube root of 8 is equal to 2. Okay, so these are numbers. Okay, these are numbers in the radical sign. Okay, which are including radical sign. So what is radical sign? Radical signs are these signs. Okay, so when you write a number under this sign, this is known as a radical sign. Okay, a radical sign. Okay, but then you should remember certain things in this radical sign. When there's nothing written over here, okay, there's nothing written over here, that doesn't mean that it is 1 or it is 0. No, when nothing is written over here, that means that there is 2 written over there. Okay, so when there's nothing written over here, it means there is a 2 over there, and it is read as square root. Okay, so don't misunderstand that in this sign of radical. Okay, in this radical sign, if you don't have anything, suppose it is 16. Okay, this doesn't mean that you have to assume that here there is a 0 or there is a 1. Okay, no, it is, this number is not 0. Okay, nor it is 1. Okay, it is not 0 also, it is not also 1. So what is that number? That number is 2. Okay, that number is 2, but we don't write that 2. Okay, we normally don't write that 2. So this radical sign is meaning that in this radical sign, this number has to be 2. Okay, and it is read as square root. So here square root of 4, can you see this square root of 4? I'm reading this as square root of 4 because nothing is written over here. When nothing is written over here, that means you have to assume that there is a 2. Okay, so that also you are not supposed to write, but you don't assume that there is a 1 or a 0 over there. You don't have anything like a radical number and a 1 in this, or a radical number and a 0 at this place. Okay, you don't have anything like this. So it starts with a 2 and then it is read as square root. Then you have radical sign with a 3 over here. Okay, now this 3, okay, when placed with this radical sign at this position, okay, this is read as cube root. This is read as cube root. So can you see this number? This is read as a cube root of 8. Because of this 3, it is read as cube root of 8. Because of this 2, it is read as square root of 4. Okay, and cube root of 8 is equal to 2. Square root of 4 is equal to 2. Okay, so these are the numbers in radical sign and these are the numbers in index form. Right, now you will have to learn to connect, okay, the numbers in radical sign and index form, or in other words, you will have to learn to convert a number in radical form, okay, into index form. or you'll have to learn to convert a number from index form to radical form. So if you know this conversion, then you will be learning a very good concept. Okay. So today's purpose is just to make you understand this particular concept, right? So the topic is radical sign and index form numbers and interconversion. So you are basically today going to learn how to interconvert them. So if a number is given to you in index form, how you can convert it into radical form, and if it is given in radical form, how we are going to convert it into index form. Basically, this is what you are going to learn today. So for that, as I told you, this okay, let us go to one more example. Okay, now 8 square is equal to 64. This is a number in index form. Can you see 8 square is in index form? Now 27 is equal to 3 cube. This is also in index form. Now why we call this number as index form? Rather, this is read as 64 is a number expressed in index form as 8 raised to 2. Okay. 27 is a number which is expressed as 3 raised to 3 in the index form. So in the index form, any number can be expressed. Okay, so if it is 8 square is 64, right? So 64 can be written as 8 square and 27 can be written as 3 cube. But when 64 is written as 8 square, we say that 64 is expressed in the index form, or it is written in the index form. When we write 27 as 3 raised to 3, we say that 27 is expressed in index form or written in index form as 3 raised to 3. So this is the meaning of it. Now, 8 is equal to root of 64. This number, 8 is equal to root of 64 and 3 is equal to root of 27. Or read the other way, root of 64 is equal to 8, root of 27. Now this is not root of 27. This is cube root of 27, okay? So cube root of 27 is 3. Now here what I have done, here I can say that a number 8 is expressed in the form of radical sign, okay, as root of 64. Okay, so when you see this sign, you can say that the number is in radical form. Okay, so 8 is expressed in radical form as root of 64. Okay. Now same way 3 can be expressed in radical sign as cube root of 27, because cube root of 27 is going to ultimately work out to 3. Is that clear? So now you can understand that what is the meaning of number in index form and what is the meaning of number in radical form. So one final thing I'll do, the numbers which I have circled with red, they are the numbers in radical form, right? These are the numbers in radical form. Okay, right? These are the numbers in radical form. Okay, fine. And the numbers in index form, I'll circle with this orange color. Okay, so these are numbers in index form, right? This is index form, right? This is index form, right? Okay, so the first step is clear now. There's something called numbers in index form. There's something called numbers in radical form. Now, if you see carefully, in general, if you see in general, this is a radical sign, okay? And in the gap, okay, of this radical sign, there's a number n written over here. Can you see this? N. Okay. And inside the radical sign, you have a number in the index form. Okay. So a number in the index form, okay, along with a radical sign, okay, you will find many a times. And that number, now basically this is a number in radical form because you have a radical sign. Okay. Now if you want to convert it into an index form, what you have to do is you have to take this x, okay, and you have to raise it to m and then divide by n. Okay, this n, right? Example is, suppose you have a number in the radical form as cube root of 8. This is a number in radical form, cube root of 8. Okay, now 8 can be treated as 8 raised to 1 over here. Okay, So if you want to convert this into index form, what you have to do is you have to first write this 8. Okay, you can write this 8. This can be written as 8 raised to 1. Okay, and then this one you have to divide by this particular number 3. Okay, so cube root of 8 can be written as 8 raised to 1 by 3. Okay, in general, nth root of any number x can be written as x raised to 1 by n. Remember that. Is that clear? But I know that 8 can be also written as 2 raised to 3. So if I can write cube root of 8 as cube root of 2 raised to 3, then also it will become, first you have to write this 2 and then this is 3. Okay, so it will be raised to 3 upon 3. And 3 will cut and it will become 1. So this will end up with 2. Okay, so cube root of 8 is nothing but 2. Right. So what you have learned now is the cube root of 8 can be written as 8 raised to 1 by 3 also, and it can be also written as 2. Okay, so cube root of 8 is 2. Now, this is the way you have to interconvert a radical sign into a index form or an index form into a radical form. Okay, both the ways you can do. Right. Now, this will take some time for you to, put into your head properly. Okay, but at your age, you have to just understand the concept properly. Okay, now this actually works, but there are so many tiny little things that you have to take care of. Okay, now I'm going to tell you those little tiny things where you can make mistakes. Okay, so this interconversion, this is the formula, right, between radical sign and the index form. This is the conversion. Okay. Now 27 is equal to 3 into 3 into 3, that is equal to 3 raised to 3. Now this is very clear to you. 27 can be written as 3 into 3 into 3, that is 3 raised to 3. So 27 is a number which is written as 3 raised to 3 in the index form. This is index form. Okay, now what I will do, the same thing I am going to write in the radical form. Okay, so radical form, what I'll do, I'll put the radical sign. Now see this index form, I'm converting into radical sign. So what you have to do, first you have to draw the radical sign, first step. Okay, now in the gap of this radical sign, inside this gap, okay, this gap you can see. Okay, inside this you have to place the power or the index, you can say. Okay, so that is why I have put this 3 over here. Okay, and under the radical sign you have to put the number which is the value of this 3 raised to 3. So what is the value of 3 raised to 3? Value of 3 raised to 3 is 27. So you have to put 27 over here. Okay, and this is how the number in index form is converted into a number in radical form. Okay, and the meaning of this will be what? Cube root of 27. Cube root of 27. Cube root of 27 means what is the number which when multiplied 3 times will give you 27. In mind, you ask the question to yourself, what is a number which you will multiply 3 times, the same number you will multiply 3 times to get you this number 27. So the answer is 3 plus 3. So plus 3, if you multiply 3 times, plus 3 into plus 3 into plus 3, you will get this 27. That is the meaning of this. Is that clear? Okay. Now let us come to this 81. 81 is a number which can be written as 3 into 3 into 3 into 3, because 3 into 3 is 9 and another 9. 9 into 9 is 81. Right? So this 3 multiplied by 4 times, okay, can be written as 3 raised to 4. So this is a number in index form, right? 3 raised to 4 is a number in index form. Okay. Now, if they tell you that write this number 3 raised to 4, which is in index form, write it in the radical form, then what you have to do? You have to first draw this radical sign. Can you see this radical sign? Then the power, okay, you have to place it in this gap. So you have to write a 4 over here in the gap, okay, and equal to. And inside the radical sign, you have to write the value of this 3 raised to 4. So value of 3 raised to 4 is 81. So that you have to write here, 81. So now we are understanding. Okay. Now try to understand this. Minus 27 can be written as minus 3 into minus 3 into minus 3. It can be written. Okay. Therefore, minus 3 whole cube it can be written. So minus 27 is the value of minus 3 raised to 3. Minus 3 whole raised to 3. Okay. So this is a number in index form. Now if you want to convert it into radical form, what you will do is draw the radical sign first, that is this. Then in the gap you place this power. So the power is 3. So put that 3 over here, and inside the radical sign, okay, inside you put the value of this index form. So value of this minus 3 whole raised to 3 is minus 27. So put that minus 27. So this is how the index form is converted into radical form. Are you getting me? This is index form converted into radical form. Okay, this is index form converted into radical form. Okay, and because we now know that index form and radical form are the two forms of the same value, both have the same value. Minus 3 whole raised to 3 is the same value, and cube root of minus 27 is also the same value, isn't it? I mean, they are different ways of writing the same thing. Okay, but the value will be what? The value of this radical, okay, this radical sign will be minus 3 over here, and the value of minus 3 whole raised to 3 will be minus 27. So don't assume that this is equal to this. Okay, so very important thing that you should understand is you have learned to interconvert. Okay, convert from index form to radical form, but the two forms are not the same. Okay, what I mean to say is nth root of x raised to n can be written as x raised to m by n. Okay, this is how interconversion takes place. Okay, but the meaning is how, suppose you want to read a number like x raised to m upon, see, if it is m upon n, it's okay, but if it is now this, you know, let me tell you, this fourth root of 81 will be written as, its value will be 3. Okay, now fourth root of 81, let me write here, fourth root of 81 fourth root of 81, okay, can be written as, now there is a 1 over here, so this can be written as 81 raised to 1 upon 4. Okay, this is equal, this 2 is same. Okay, but if you say fourth root of 81, what is the meaning of this, or what is the value of this? Then the value of this is 81 is what? 81 is 3 raised to 4. Sorry, 3 multiplied by 4 times, 3 raised to 4. Okay, 81 is 3 raised to 4, isn't it? So if you want to convert it and write fourth root of 81, then that will be equal to 3. Okay, that will be equal to 3. Are you getting me? So index number is 3 raised to 4, which is having a value as 81, and this is a number in radical form, but its value is 3. Okay, so you cannot say that the interconversion has the same value. Okay, it is only the form that you can change. Are you getting me? So fourth root of 81 can be written as 3. Okay, just 3. Are you getting me? Now suppose you have, instead of this 4, if you have 3, okay, and if you have a 27 over here, this will be read as cube root of 27, and cube root of 27 is also 3. Why? Because 3 into 3 into 3 is 27. But then cube root of minus 27 will be what? So ask yourself a question. What is a number which multiplied 3 times will give you minus 27? So answer is minus 3 into minus 3 into minus 3. If you multiply minus 3 times, you get the answer as minus 27. Therefore, cube root of minus 27 is equal to minus 3. You getting me? So once you understand this concept, then you can handle these numbers very nicely, and you can do the conversions also very nicely without making any mistake, without any doubt. So the thing is, the conversion between the index form and the radical form should be very clear to you. Okay. Now let me tell you at the end this particular thing which is very important. Okay, this one. Okay. Now here I am going to tell you a very important concept in mathematics. Right? Okay. In mathematics, under the square root sign, if you have a negative number, okay, if you have a negative number, okay, then it is not defined, or it is known as imaginary number. Okay. Under the square root sign, if you have a negative number, for example, square root of a negative 4, square root of a negative 25, square root of a negative 16, square root of 1, square root of minus 1, square root of minus 3, square root of minus 5, anything, okay, any negative number, okay, square root sign, under square root sign, if you put any negative number, that will be not defined or imaginary number, okay. But if you take cube root, okay, if you take a cube root, or if you take fourth root, or if you take fifth root, okay, then inside this negative numbers are possible. Inside this negative numbers are possible. Okay, so cube root of minus 27 is possible. Okay, fourth root of minus 81 is possible. Fifth root of 125 is possible. Not fifth root of 125, cube root of 125. Okay, even fifth root is possible. Okay, but cube root of minus 125 is possible. Okay, only thing is square root, under the square root sign, if you have a negative number, that is not defined. But under all this other, now I told you, radical signs will start with this square root. Okay, there's a 2 over here. If you don't write, you have to assume there is a 2. So this is square root. Next one is cube root. Next is fourth root. Next is fifth root. And it goes on, nth root. Okay, so n can be any number from 2, 3, 4, 5, so anything. Okay, but n is never equal to 0 and n is never equal to 1. Is that clear? So these are radical signs. Under this particular sign, okay, when the n is equal to 2, when n is equal to 2, that time under the radical sign, if you have negative number, then that is not defined, or it is not accepted, or it is imaginary. But under cube root, you can have a negative number. Okay, and I have given you example of minus 27. You can have positive as well as negative. Okay, cube root of minus 27 is also possible. Cube root of 27 is also possible. Fourth root of 81 is also possible. Fourth root of minus 81 is also possible. Okay, are you getting me? Let us check what happens. Okay, so that is what I have written. If n is even, then the nth root of any number will be plus or minus. Okay, and if n is odd, then also the nth root of this will be plus or minus. Okay, so it is possible. Let us try to find out the value of this. So cube root of minus 27 should be what? So this answer will be, imagine a number which multiplied 3 times will give you minus 27. So my answer is minus 3, minus 3, minus 3. If I multiply this minus 3 times, okay, I am getting the answer as minus 27. Therefore, cube root of minus 27 has to be minus 3. Okay. Now, cube root of 27 will be how much? So, cube root of 27, imagine a number which multiplied 3 times will give you 27. Multiplied 3 times. Okay. So, let me take 3 this time. 3 into 3 into 3, all positive 3. So, plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, if I multiply, I am getting 27. Okay. Therefore, I can say cube root of 27 is equal to 3. this number which you multiplied 3 times. This number which you multiplied 3 times. Okay. Same way, let us check 4th root of 81. 4th root of 81. 4th root of 81 means what? Think of a number which when multiplied 4 times, okay, the same number, okay, not different numbers, multiplied 4 times should give you 81. So the number 3 again comes to my mind. 3, 3, 3, 3. All plus 3, if I multiply 4 times, I am getting the answer as 81. This number. Therefore, 4th root of 81 can be written as this number which you multiplied 4 times. So 4th root of 81 will be plus 3. Okay. Same way, 4th root of minus 81 is also possible. How? Think of a number, okay, which multiplied 4 times will give you minus 81. Okay. So minus 3, minus 3, minus 3 and minus 3. Okay. But now you can see that when you multiply this 4 times, okay, minus into minus is plus, plus into minus is minus, minus into minus is plus. So here you are getting plus 81. So now you cannot say that 4th root of minus 81 is minus 3. This will be wrong. Okay. So 4th root of minus 81 is also not existing. Okay. So in general, square root with a negative number and any other n which is even, okay, will not have the value as negative. Okay, so inside you will this value, suppose this is x, so here you will never get a value which is negative. Okay, so these are the things you should understand. Okay, but if it is odd, of course it will be there. Okay, so odd number, if n is equal to odd number, okay, if n is equal to odd, then nth root of any number, say x, okay, can be both positive as well as negative. Okay, but if n is even, okay, nth root of x, okay, if this n is even, you know, nth root of n x will always be a positive number. It will never be a negative number. Is that clear? So whenever you come across this conversion, okay, so minus 3 raised to 4 can be written as 81. Therefore, this is in the index form, 81 written in the index form. But if you want to write 4th root of 81 equal to minus 3, this will not be possible. Okay, 4th root of 81 is not minus 3. Okay, can you see? You cannot imagine that minus 3 multiplied 4 times will give you, yeah, this is possible. 4th root of minus 3 will be minus 3 multiplied 4 times, okay, plus 81. This minus root, inside you will never get a negative number. Okay, so remember that the conversion of radical sign, radical number in the radical form, okay, into index form will be this. Nth root of x raised to m will be equal to x raised to m upon m. Simple as that. Okay, and this, the reverse is also true. If you have a number in the form of x raised to m by 1, that is index form, and if you want to convert it into radical form, then put this radical sign, this denominator you put it over here, and x raised to m you put it over here. Okay. So these two rules, if you understand properly, you will never ever make any mistakes. Is that clear? Another thing is, if you want to decide whether a cube root of a number exists or not, whether a 4th root of a number exists, or rather you check it by imagining that number. Okay, so suppose cube root of 27 is given to you. Is it? If you want to find the value, then think of a number which multiplied 3 times should give you 27. And you know, plus 3 multiplied 3 times will also give you 27. Okay, so the answer for this will be equal to 3. Okay, 4th root of say 64, right? So think of a number. So you can think of a number as 4. 4 into 4 is 16. No, not 4. it will be 4th root of 64 will not be possible. 4th root of suppose we write 4 raised to 4. 4 raised to 4, acha, 4th root of 256 is possible. Okay. 4th root of 256. Now, 4th root of 256, will think of a number which multiplied 4 times will give you 256. Okay. So 4 is a number which you multiply 4 times. 4 into 4 into 4 into 4. This will give you 256. See, this 4 into 4 is 16. Another 4 into 4 is 16. And 16 into 16 is 256. Right? So 4th root of 256 can be written as 4. Okay, this 4. Right? So this is the meaning of radical sign, a number expressed in radical sign, and how it is related to a number expressed in the index form. Okay, so you should know how to interconvert these two numbers from one form to another form. Okay, that was the purpose of today's session. That's all for today. Bye.